and welcome to today's show. It is September the 28th of 2021, and you are watching Prosecutors Will Be Violated. Hello, I'm your host, John Bernbach, sometimes known as Sparky or also Hemp John. If you've watched some of the earlier episodes, then you know all about the history of me and what it is that I am and what I do and all that kind of happy stuff. So, here I am. We're going to talk about a few things that are on the serious side and try to take a little bit on the lighter side as well too, just because, hey, that's what it is that I do here. I try to keep things a little bit interesting and a little bit funny, and hopefully you find maybe some truth and some interesting facts. Who knows? In any case, the most important thing that I think happens to be coming up right now is, of course, the budget talks and the debt limit. As you can see from the little chart right here of, who's been popping the budget all to craziness, it's been a couple of different groups of people. They're all guilty, but that's beside the point. Another interesting little graph, just because, the budget just drives you crazy, doesn't it? Nobody understands it. Nobody gets it. They all just talk about these numbers like they mean crazy amounts of stuff, which there are crazy amounts of stuff, but they also talk in terms of 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Well, 1.8 trillion over 10 years is only 180 billion a year. That's pocket change in comparison to the kind of numbers you see on this little image. And then, how is it that the government doesn't have to go through the same refinancing stuff that you and I have to go through? If you want to refinance your mortgage or you want to get an increase on your credit limit, you got to go to the bank. You got to talk to them. You got to give them all kinds of information and stuff like that. Tell them everything about you. Give yourself everything kind of examination, and in order to be able to try to get get your credit increased. So how come the government doesn't have to do that? Oh, because they print the money. Well, you know what? I did a Google search just to find out, because I was curious, how much currency is actually in circulation right now. And would you believe it? There's less than $5 trillion that's actually in circulation. All of the rest of this money is borrowed and everything like that. So, there you go. The government is able to do things that you and I can't do. Why? Because you and I allow them to do it. In some side news, history, folks, John Hinckley, shooter of President Reagan, seen here sitting at the White House, calmly and prospectively, has been given unconditional release. Most of you may not remember, but he was found innocent of shooting the president because of mental illness. Well, apparently he's now okay, and he's on unconditional release, provided, that's right, provided he is able to keep himself mentally stable. So how is that an unconditional release when you have the condition of you got to remain mentally stable in order to continue to stay released? That sounds like a conditional release if you ask me. But who am I to say? Now, other interesting news, because of the pandemic and everything like that, the busiest ports in the United States are all backed up like a sewer, okay? Understand, your toilet is backing up right now. That's what's happening out in Los Angeles, New York, and other ports around the United States, because we don't have enough places to put all the ships. They can't get in fast enough. So we have a shipping crisis, not only with this, but with all kinds of other stuff. Thank you very much. I don't know what else to say other than be careful, folks. Christmas might be different this year. I took a recent trip through the great Midwest here, and went through some of the nice areas that are rural and stuff like that. And I was continually amazed, not that I haven't been amazed for a long time that, there's a lot of people that still have these things in their yards. And if it wasn't for the fact that I know that it would be a waste of time, I'd frankly like to ask people that have a Trump-Pence sign, who is it that they really support? Because Pence is a traitor to Trump. He didn't do what Trump wanted him to do, which is find a way to overturn the 2020 election. Trump is a traitor to Pence because he sent a whole bunch of people down to the Capitol who wanted to hang the guy. So, who are you supporting? Are you supporting traitor number one, or are you supporting traitor number two? Are you supporting the traitor to the president, or are you supporting the traitor to the Constitution of the United States? It is a question that begs to be asked, and after asking that question, I'd like to see whether or not people actually X out the Trump part, or they X out the Pence part. Now, maybe they're actually they're putting up these signs because they actually voted for Biden, and they just want people to think that they're in favor of Trump. So I don't know, or Pence for that matter. Not that Pence seems to really be doing anything, but that's just kind of the way things happen to be, it seems, lately. So that's a question. Ask your Trumper friends, your Pencer friends, the people that have these signs in their yards, who are you really supporting of? Okay? Just curious. Begs the question. Another thing that begs the question is, well, yes, the Rolling Stones just the other night kicked off their world tour without their famous drummer, Charlie Watts, which, quite frankly, as seen here in this picture, looks like the guy that should have lasted the longest, don't you think? I mean, Keith Richards, what's he done? He has fallen out of coconut trees. He's done all kinds of drugs and things like that. He's just a crazy guy. Same with the rest of this band. The last person I expected to die was the drummer. He seemed to be the most, quote, clean-cut member of the band. But in any case, unfortunately, the Rolling Stones are gathering no moss, which goes without saying. You just have to say it, and that's the way it is. Other interesting things that have been going on is that, there's been all this talk about the poor little white girl that is missing, and they don't know where her boyfriend is, and all that kind of stuff. And yet, each year, hundreds of thousands of people of other colors, women in particular, go missing. Last year, nearly 100,000 of them. Think of that, folks. During the pandemic, 100,000 women of other colors went missing. And did you hear anything about it? No, you didn't hear anything about it. Why? Because, well, hey, cute white chick goes missing. That's a newsworthy story. She's picture-worthy. Some of these other people aren't necessarily picture-worthy, although I quite frankly think they are. They look perfectly good to me. So, I don't get it. I don't understand why it is that we're not doing more to promote missing people in general. I would suspect many of them, unfortunately, are probably no longer with us. Others might be in sex trafficking rings like Jeffrey Epstein and all the rest of these Harvey Weinsteins, etc., etc. So, who knows what's going on with them, but something needs to be done. In a little bit more humorous news, well, you know what? They finally finished recounting the recount of the recount of the recount of Maricopa County in Arizona, and they find out that actually Joe Biden got even more votes than they had originally given to him. So, here you go again. Just goofy, crazy shit. Yes, they couldn't find any bamboo. They couldn't do anything. I'm not sure who the heck these cyber ninja people are, but they certainly don't seem to be able to find whatever it is they were supposed to find. And now they're heading apparently to Texas in order to be able to try to see if they can do the same thing there, which is just, again, I'm at a loss for words, folks. it happens from time to time, quite often actually, when I watch the news, especially when I hear crazy stuff like this. So, on to other political news. Well, over in Germany, they had an election just this last week, and none of their government was able, or none of their political parties, because they, unlike here in the United States, where we have, quote, two main political parties, and then you have a bunch of sub-parties that never really seem to get anywhere because everybody's afraid that if they don't vote for one of the two main parties, then they'll be considered voting for the losing party, which of course is just simply absurd. But in any case, because no party was able to gain a complete majority, the parties are going to have to form a coalition government. Now, wouldn't that be interesting here if in the United States you had, let's just say, the Libertarians and the Greens and the Democrats and the Republicans. None of them are able to get the full 50% that they need in order to be able to control either side of Congress. They end up having to actually work together in order to be able to get things done. So, sometimes I look at other countries and go, gosh, wouldn't that be kind of interesting if we did the same thing here? Wouldn't we might be able to get things done other than the crazy stalemates that they keep playing on us over and over and over again? I wish I had something really funny to end today's program on. Unfortunately, I don't. I hope that I've prosecuted a few violators and violated a few prosecutors with today's show. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know I enjoy bringing it to you, looking through the news to see goofy, stupid shit that I can then bring to you and talk about a little bit. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have yourself a good day. And remember, Mrs. Prosecutors will be violated. We'll see you next time.